Nepal. When a click crashed a regime. Have you ever noticed how one small policy can ignite an entire country? Nepal just became a textbook example. After a single decision to block social media on September 4th, the nation spiraled into its worst political crisis in decades. The government claimed it was suspending access to 26 international social media platforms due to failure to register with local authorities. But no one really bought that. Most people saw it as a thinly veiled attempt to silence criticism, especially from a digitally savvy young generation. And then, boom. Protests erupted on September 5th in Kathmandu and quickly spread across the country. By September 8th, tens of thousands had taken to the streets, waving Nepal's red and blue flags and chanting for freedom online and an end to corruption. It felt less like a protest and more like a revolution in the making. On September 8th, police fired tear gas, water cannons, and rubber bullets to push back crowds, but demonstrators pushed through the barricades anyway. As things spiraled out of control, live rounds were fired. At least 19 people were killed and over 400 injured, including more than 100 police officers. In that moment, the movement transformed from civil resistance to full-blown rebellion. On September 9th, Nepal's parliament building, ironically a symbol of foreign-backed modernization funded by China, was set on fire. The smoke rising from central Kathmandu became a visual metaphor for the collapse of authority. Things escalated quickly. Protesters began targeting the private homes of senior officials. Prime Minister Ali's residence was attacked, along with the homes of former Prime Ministers Sher Bahadur Dubba and Jala Nath Kanal. Kanal was reportedly beaten unconscious, bleeding from the head. Unverified rumors claimed his wife, Foreign Minister Azu Rana, may have died during a separate attack. Another shock came from the prison system. At Naku jail, 1,500 inmates escaped in the chaos. The country's security infrastructure completely collapsed. The national airport shut down. Military helicopters were dispatched to evacuate top officials. A nationwide curfew was declared. Despite the turmoil, Prime Minister Ali initially stood firm. National sovereignty matters more than a few voices on the internet. But public pressure, both online and in the streets, overwhelmed him. By September 9th, the government reversed the ban. Interior Minister Ramesh Lekhak resigned first. Then Ali himself stepped down. Still, protesters didn't leave. They wanted more than Wi-Fi. They wanted a new system. Demands poured in: dissolve the current government, appoint a technocratic interim cabinet, and hold new national elections. Some even proposed Balendra Shah, the mayor of Kathmandu and a former rapper, as interim prime minister. That wasn't just political theater. It reflected a real generational break with the old elite. The problem? Restoring social media and removing a prime minister didn't fix anything. Parliament was burned, prisons were lost, government homes were stormed. These aren't isolated incidents, they're signs of institutional collapse. Without a credible transitional government, the unrest will only deepen. And to be honest, I don't see this as a temporary crisis. It's been brewing for years. Nepal once inspired hope by ending 240 years of monarchy in 2008 and becoming a democratic republic. But what have people received since? More than 10 different prime ministers in just over a decade. Average GDP growth below 4%. Youth unemployment above 30%. Millions of young Nepalis forced to work abroad. Back home, politicians split into rival factions, while their children flaunted supercars on social media. What was once a milestone of modern reform is now a sinking ship of corruption, gridlock, and failed governance. Power changes hands, but the people remain disillusioned. When politics becomes a game of elections instead of a tool for development, the public eventually loses faith. That social media ban may have been the final straw, but the cup had been overflowing for a long time. What happened in Nepal isn't just a crisis. It's a warning shot to every fragile democracy. If you don't fix the system from within, the people will tear it down from the outside. So what do you think? Can Nepal rebuild from the ashes, or is it already sliding into its next dark chapter?